What's going on, guys, and welcome back to yet another awesome episode After School with the Lawsons. I'm your host, Daniel. You can call me Cadence, you can call me Nene, you can call me whatever you want. But the main reason we're here today is because I got my best friend with me, y'all, Mr. Jordan Hunter.
What's going on?
He's a great dude. We met back in high school, and we'll tell you a little bit about that. But most importantly, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Daniel.
He actually was over here because he is so good at gaming.
Who told you that?
I see you on games all the time.
It's because you suck, isn't it?
That is the exact reason.
Okay.
But he just was coming over to show me how to do some live streaming activities because I'm trying to be cool like all these like super cool streamers, but
You're cooler than me, brother.
no, far from it, my man. You have a mustache.
Well, some would say that's not cool.
I just have a rug on my face.
It's
An
shaped up
uncomfortable
nicely,
rug.
though, huh?
Yeah, I try looking crispy all the time.
You thank God for that, right?
Every day.
Good.
Everybody's like, your beard is so majestic. And I'm like, what does majestic even mean?
That right there, brother. Look at you. You're all just...
I'm looking in my mirror and I'm like, I'm majestic. But I don't even know what it means. It's strange.
Yeah, well, you're a beast, dude. You're tatted up. You got a beard. You got a clean cut.
I would have to agree.
An influencer, some would say.
Well, to each their own.
What do you think it is like to be an influencer? What do you think the pressures of that feels like? Is it too much?
I think that when you're in town. So when we go to town, funny story, when we go to town, I'm like, what can I wear to look decent? And so I'm like, I gotta fix my hair. Like, I feel like you have so many people that looked up to you or look at you, and then it's like you have to present this certain image. You know what I mean? Whitney don't care. She's like,
I'm jealous.
T-shirt and sweatpants, let's go to Walmart. I'm like, button up, suit jacket, let's go to Walmart. Like, there's two totally different things, but she really doesn't care. And there's many a times where I'm like, honey, are you gonna like comb your hair today?
Well, you've always been like this. You've always just been clean cut, put together.
Yeah, it was the way I was raised. Mom always was like, go brush your teeth, go fix your hair. My grandma was like, put face cream on and take care of yourself and put cologne on. I mean, I put cologne on when I go to bed. That's sad.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it's expensive at least.
Yeah, I mean, the dollar signs rack up, but especially I'm gonna squirt on some Versace right before I hit the sack.
Wendy's just got a splitting headache from that smell, probably all
my
night
pillow.
long.
My pillow smells like Dillard's cologne section or something like. But it was just. I guess it's just how you're raised, and I mean, I always like to look halfway decent, but Whitney don't care, and I may be going to the extreme when I say like, "Hey, honey, will you comb your hair?" But there's many a times where I'm like, "Can you put on something other than a Alabama volleyball T-shirt? You didn't even go to Alabama. You don't even like volleyball."
Roll Tide.
It's like it's so funny. But I think being an influencer is definitely something you have to look at daily, especially when you're out. Can't be. You just can't. And it's not that you choose that.
I think we're at that age now where it's important for us to think about how we influence the world. And
I agree.
I think there's a lot of positive ways to do it. And I'm glad to see that you're doing it in a great way.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Don't make me cry. No, I appreciate it. There's just so much negativity, and we've talked about it before. Like, social media it could be extremely great, and then there's other times where it could just be extremely bad, and when it's bad, it's ugly,
I think it's personal perception. I think you being able to view the way you view things, you can decide how you view them. And there's always going to be negative comments. There's always going to be positive comments. And, I know you talked to someone recently, not letting your highs be too high, your lows to be too low. It really is your own ability to control all of that narrative. It feels like there's all this negative energy out there. It's probably just because you're focusing on it.
That's
really,
true, yeah.
How it is. I really do think that if enough people can just kind of take control of their own life with their perception, the way they view things, things will work out for you in the better.
Oh yeah, being optimistic is that
Optimistic, exactly.
Yeah, being optimistic.
Yeah, it's not just the world out to get you.
Yeah,
it's sometimes your own head.
That's true.
Messing with you.
That's true for sure. Well, my best friend, Jordan Hunter, we've
Slept in the same bed.
We've slept in the same bed. We got many of funny stories.
We watched Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, I mean,
you slept in my bed
because he wanted me to. He was like, "Wait, where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to my room." He's like, "Oh no, no."
That rings a bell.
It wasn't nothing sexual or anything, to my knowledge. But no, seriously, we go way back, and we'll tell you a little bit about that. But what was your first impression of me?
First impression of you, I know you were an ROTC guy, Army guy, opposite of me, basically.
Completely.
Yeah.
I swear, my first impression of you, I thought you came from like California.
Yeah, I got that a lot. Well, I was big into Hollister. I had the beaded the necklace. I had the hair. I dye my hair.
Had the frosted tips.
Yeah, yep. And then I quickly started straightening that. And I think that's when everyone thought maybe he's just a little weird.
I thought you were really cool, actually. I was like, man, this dude has hella hair. Like, and then I'm like, man, I should try some frosted tips. And that was terrible.
You dove full force into that.
Yeah, there was no like bridging the gap. It was just like all or nothing, baby.
That's right.
Put a scarf on me. Yep. Give me some eyeliner.
Give me the glasses without real frames and all.
Yes. I remember that. Oh my God, that's so funny. I'm gonna get my ears pierced. Jordan has his ears pierced.
Yeah. I'll gauge it a little bit. I don't want a permanent scar.
Yeah, but man, you used to get those like long ones and shove them through real slow.
Well, that's how a man did it, buddy.
Man,
that's right. It would be painful. Yeah.
Oh man, I would like do it in the shower, like let my skin get loose. It probably didn't help, but that was like, I'm gonna gauge my ears tonight. I got to take a hot shower. Maybe my earlobes will stretch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I outgrew that. Yeah. At the end of the day, I wasn't committed to the lifestyle. That's why I don't have tattoos now. Just not committed. Clearly. Like some people.
Once you start, it's hard to stop. It's kind of like eating a donut or a bag of Doritos.
When are you going to get a neck tat?
I probably never. I don't think I would do.
Nothing from the neck up?
I don't think so. I think I'm content with what I have now. I mean, there's a couple little fillers I want. Whitney wants my leg to be done, but I don't know.
I don't see you in shorts.
No, I very rarely wear shorts. Damn, that's hard to say. Very rarely wear. Try that 3 times.
I won't.
But yeah, I very rarely wear shorts, and if I do, it's like the little stretchy ones. Like remember I used to wear cargo shorts all the time.
Yeah, I do.
And now I'm just like into like the American Eagle kind of stretchy band shorts. I mean, I'm a dad. I'm 33. Like I'm ready to be comfy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I feel that. Yeah, as a non-dad at 33, I'm ready to be comfy as well. I think it's the 33-year-old part.
Yeah.
Comfort is everything. And I know that everyone says that, but it's...
Yeah, and remember, like, back then, it's like, you just dress to look good. Like, there's no way I can wear those girl pants anymore like I used to.
I mean, I still do. That's just because that's home for me, but...
Listen, so I started getting into skinny jeans with this guy, and... we went shopping or something. We went to PacSun. This is when PacSun was in the mall. It's not there currently, which I kind of hate. And, when I go to, like, Nashville or we was up in Chicago last week, I was like, let's walk into PacSun. It's been years since I've been at a PacSun. Well, I got some, like, super skinny pants. And I don't know.
Super skinny?
Yeah, super skinny.
That's what they labeled them?
It was labeled an 8.
That's just how they fit.
I guess that's how. Jordan was like, yeah, get these. Well, something happened. They ripped or something, probably because I was getting a little too chubby.
Well...
But I walked in and I was like, ma'am, I was looking in the men's. I was like, I see no size 8. Like, all I see is like 34 with a slash and a 32 or this or that. And she's like, oh, 8s? Those are women's. I was like, well, hell, I mean, I'm so used to wearing these. They're comfy. Give me 2 more pair. I just kept.
They were cheaper from what I remember,
Yeah,
too.
they were way cheaper.
Yeah.
And they fit
Smaller
great.
Pockets.
They had the stretchy on the outside,
yeah. And you didn't have that massive phone like you do nowadays in your pocket, so it wasn't that big a deal.
It just flipped up and folded, or maybe you were just too broke. Maybe you're too broke and just couldn't afford one. Oh my God, that's so funny. But
no, yeah, I remember wearing girl jeans. I was a size 4. Yeah.
I was an
a 4,
8.
you're
I
an
was
8,
much
well.
more bigger.
Well, I was itsy bitsy.
I say bigger. I mean chubby when I say big. But so first impression, I was in ROTC. Nerd.
No,
you
were cool.
You think I was cool?
People thought, yeah, people liked you.
Other people in ROTC.
You've always had social skills, though. Really
Yeah,
good
that's
social
true.
skills.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing what you're doing now, probably.
Yeah.
It's because of your social skills.
That's true. Well, I appreciate that. My self-confidence has grew over the years, and yours has too.
Yeah.
And I think it's just something that happens when you mature. But like when I was in high school, I was so insecure about the way I looked, the way I dressed, was I dating the right chick? And I think it all stemmed from like all these popular like jockey kids who are now either dead or in jail, which is so strange.
Everyone felt the same way,
Yeah.
I think, is what you're talking about. All the normal people. And I think there was a large group of people that they're so insecure that they project this false sense of confidence, cockiness, and it convinces all the people who are insecure like us that that's the reality, that's how you're supposed to be. People are feeling like that. I want to feel like that. I don't feel like that, so I must be weird.
Yeah.
And I think that actually it turned out the opposite way, and that's why those people struggle later in life, because they peaked in high school.
Yeah.
And then after, they don't know what to do when all that falls apart and everyone moves away.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of and I don't hang out with a lot of people from high school. You're probably the only person I physically hang out with. Now, I'll stay in touch with people. I'll message them on, Facebook or text them, check in on them here and there, especially the people that are really going through something, because I really want to try to be there for that person.
Yeah.
Because regardless, if you're a social media influencer, you can be an influencer, period. From day to day, I feel like
borderline, you could be even more than with one person. You can influence one person way way quicker, way more impactful, way more intensely than you can. I mean, it's for some people. Some people it works better at masses, but everyone can impact one person.
Yeah, and that's why I try to, like, if I see someone struggling on Facebook, there's a guy that I think he was actually a grade or two younger than us. But he's going through a lot here recently. I think his mother passed. He's not with his girlfriend anymore, and he just, he just needs. I just feel like he needed someone to talk to. So I'm like, dude, anytime you need to talk to me, I'm here. You know a way to contact me. So I just try to do my best at. And I haven't really started recently doing that I haven't never done that until recently. I don't know. I'm extremely humble. And I really want this world to be such a good place, but I can't forget that there's just evil out there, Yeah. And sometimes it really bothers me that I just wish we were all such good people. And, the least I can do is worry about myself and be in control of my own actions, right?
I think I think the message needs to be that it's your personal, everyone needs to take care of themselves. Personal responsibility, personal discipline to do the right thing. And that does take sacrificing things that's just how it's going to have to work. We can't just force evil people to do good things. Evil people have to, and then maybe they're not even evil. It's just evil things have happened and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know, they've never been taught, they've never been shown what normal is. It has to start with yourself, and I think everyone has to go through that, through a self-growth. That's why I believe heavily in self-education. I remember when I was 27, 28 years old, and when COVID hit, fattest I've ever been, right? I was drinking way too much.
I concur.
Yeah. And I realized I had spent most of my 20s not actually educating myself on anything. I had just been enjoying life, which is great also. But I realized things are just going to continue being the way they are unless I try to learn something. And everyone learns differently. And for me, it was podcasts. So I started listening to more podcasts about things I like, trying to actually learn something. And then after a year or so, you start actually look back and you realize you learned so much that past year. And then you just keep that momentum going of growing as a person. And I see a lot of people, it just seems like they don't continue their education of themselves. They think that going to college is education, when it's not, if you're not actually trying to learn yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not just getting an A is not learning something. It's actually letting it get in your mind and memorize it. If you got to listen to something 20 times in a row for it to commit to memory, I think that's the way you learn. And that's what you got to do. You can't just listen to it once and assume you know everything.
Do you think some of the best lessons are those that are self-taught? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, for instance, you said you spent most of your 20s drinking. Was that living through that and then growing from that? Was that like a self-taught lesson?
Yeah. Through personal experience, I think people learn the easiest. I think that's like, time and time again. I've always learned recently more that like the cliches are true, but it doesn't mean that just hearing the cliche means you know that now. Sometimes you have to experience it to know something. And actually, most of the time, I'm an idiot. I just continuously do things that my parents tell me not to do.
You too, huh?
Yeah. Just continuously doing what my parents and my friends and anyone tell me not to do. I know I'm eating horribly. Yet, when I'm tired and all this stuff, the last thing I blame is the fact that I'm eating horribly. And it's just going to be it takes time to commit that to memory.
And it could be, honestly, your testosterone levels, too.
You think so?
I mean, it could be.
You think I got low T?
I mean, I don't know, but I do know there's a point to where, I mean, I have testosterone pellets every 3 to 4 months inserted into my hip, not into my butt or anything, not rectally, but they're into my hip. But
I don't think it's teeth that's getting inserted in your butt.
But honestly, like after like 28, your levels start to naturally decline. And it would be worth, if you have like a primary physician or I don't know, like a male doctor you go to, have them check your blood and see what your testosterone levels are. Because at a certain age, testosterone will affect, obviously, energy, 100% energy, 100% sleep. Like, if you feel like you're sleeping a lot and you're not fully rested, it's a testosterone issue. It's a male hormone issue.
Yeah, I have not had consistent medical coverage for most of my life. So actually, yeah, that's one thing that my fiance constantly is on to me about is even this week, getting my medical insurance up and getting my blood tests done.
Yeah.
At our age, it's just...
It's a tool. It's a preventative to see like, hey, what do I got going on? Do I got high cholesterol? That way you can start taking care of yourself and live the best life, the longest life that you can do for yourself. You know what I mean?
And I think it also helps you get answers in ways that you just can't. People are constantly self-diagnosing themselves with things.
Google.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Constantly.
It's the worst.
We all are. And in this day and age, it's even worse than it's ever been, probably. And having an actual doctor tell you what's wrong and that maybe you're just eating really shitty food and you're not, doing the proper things, working out and all that. I think it's a Jim Carrey quote that's something like 100% depression is real, but if you're not, doing all the exercise, diet, sleeping, you're not giving yourself a fighting chance.
Yeah, I think so.
It's things like that I think people's minds just get fogged and clouded with all these issues, and then they get overwhelmed, and then they look for an external thing to blame. And not saying it's easy to do it internally, but a lot of the times that there is an explanation for these things that you might not understand. Maybe a professional needs to tell you what it is that can fix some of these issues.
I went and got my blood checked, and my test levels were so low. I was so tired, and I'm like, why am I so tired? I'm taking these like sleep gummies to help me sleep, and I'm sure my diet wasn't 100%. Hell, I was 245 pounds. Once I got my hormones optimized, like my testosterone, like certain vitamins in your body, I think are hormones, and also my thyroid. I was on thyroid medicine. Once I got it leveled to where it needed to be, it's like I went back a month later, and I was like, dude, whatever you did, keep doing it. Like, I felt so good.
What do you do to fix a thyroid?
So
where's the thyroid? What is a thyroid?
The thyroid is in your throat, which is strange. And Whitney knows way more about it than I do. She don't have a thyroid. So you can either have a hyperthyroidism, like where it overdoes too much, whatever it does, but it's mainly like your main hormone, like it's produces your hormones. So
it's in your throat,
and it's shaped kind of like a butterfly. I'm not a professional, but I'm pretty sure it looks like a butterfly. So
checks out,
but don't take my word for it, like the guy on the Reading Rainbow said, But seriously, I think it's shaped like a butterfly, but it controls your hair, skin, and nails, your mood, your appetite, your body temperature. It controls so much. And if she can tell when her thyroid's off, if one, she's moody, or if her hair, like she's washing her hair and some hair starts to fall out, or being hot and clammy and sweaty. Whitney was to the point to where her thyroid was, she had to have it removed because one day, like, it got so swollen, like a softball in her throat. And I don't know what it controls again, but, you know, something to look at. We can put a link to what his thyroid is in the video, but it almost killed her. Something about how it was doing something with her body, it almost killed her. So she had to have that removed. And then once you have that removed, you have to be placed on medicine to regulate your thyroid because it controls your whole body at the end of the day. And if your thyroid levels are off, you're going to sleep terrible. You're going to be sweaty. You're not going to function because it controls so many hormones throughout your body.
Yeah. It's funny that like it's that important. And then on top of that, everything else in your body that's important as well.
Yeah.
It's like
the body's weird, dude.
you got to be checked out.
Yeah.
So my fiance, Kanye, right?
Uh-huh.
She's studying, she's for her master's for a nurse practitioner.
Yeah, you picked a good one.
Yeah. And I'm a janitor. But she is studying now. I'm not also, I have no idea what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to this. I haven't seen a doctor in a hot minute, way longer than it should be. But Kanye says that I think that there are, now this is also, see, it sounds like I'm talking out of my behind, but she says that AI developments,
Oh, God.
this is the good news of AI developments in medical here, in the medical field, whatever, is that it'll be able to start doing like personalized care. So instead of having like a doctor who kind of knows like the broad scheme of all of these issues, right? And you come in, you tell him something, he's like, oh, that sounds like this. And then here's how you treat like that broad thing. That an AI can keep like a history on you of your health. And then based on all these other things, it can specifically recommend treatments for it that won't mess with all these other issues you might have. Or it'll just know more about who you are, your health, that you can actually get more specific care instead of just like a broad treatment for something passed down to you.
That's interesting.
So there's a lot of great, as much as I think people worry about AI, just like we were talking about
There's
earlier,
a lot of benefits.
focusing on the good things.
Yeah.
AI will bring a lot of great things. And in medical, I think is especially the fact that I haven't seen a doctor in I don't know how long. The fact that if everyone could get medical care to that level,
that'd be like a world movement. Like that would be huge.
if it could take care of mental health issues in a more specific way like that,
yeah.
and diagnose those more specifically instead of us all just trying to be like, oh, I have ADHD. It would. It's just a major step, I think, in the right ways.
I think so. Well, now that we're done talking about thyroids and AI,
I'm never done talking about AI. But
so my first impression of Jordan was like, again, he was like from California. I thought he was like a skater dude just because of the seashell necklace, the frosted tips.
the voice.
Super cool. And your voice, honestly, surprisingly, sounds the same as it did in high school.
I don't think it's that surprising to the people listening.
I love the style he had. He had super good style. And I always looked up to that style because I was like into Aeropostale. We couldn't afford Hollister. So I was like your Aeropostale, like I would wear 2 collars. Did you ever do that?
Oh, yeah. I had a
Pop
pink
2
and a blue one.
Yeah.
I think I did it one time, and I think during the middle of the day, I was thinking, this might be a little too much. And
It's
then
hot.
Never did it again.
Yeah.
It gets hot
I just had gym class, and I'm having to put these 2 polos on that are like 100% cotton, you know. But yeah, dude.
There's only so much Axe that could
Oh my
spray to
God,
stop
yeah.
the smell.
Dude, in high school, the gym after gym class, the amount of Axe in Adidas cologne, you could taste it. Like if you was to walk, terrible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Axe CEO has a yacht somewhere based off of the amount of
The high
Axe
school
he sold.
students or the middle
early-
school students.
Yeah.
Oh my
Early
gosh.
2000s, that dude was living the life.
But so we originally met in music class.
Yeah.
Mr. Graham was our teacher, right? Was it Mr. Graham?
I'm telling you, I remember literally nothing beyond. I have a visual of us playing the piano together.
Do you remember that day we skipped the rest of school though? Do you remember that?
No.
After the Renaissance rally?
Oh, after the Renaissance rally,
Yeah.
which is funny because I heard you recently tell on your podcast that was when you became cool.
Yeah.
But you didn't mention that it was literally the last week of our entire high school career.
I know. I didn't want anyone to know. Yeah, it was literally the last week, and we're up there. Which, granted, we did. So we got to tell a story about Aaron, Aaron Anderson. So like, we would practice like over and over because we were terrible musicians. And still to this day are. But we think we're decent. Jordan's actually really talented.
Practice matters.
Jordan's actually super talented.
Practice matters.
And we decided to play a Blink-182 song for like this battle of the bands to be able to see, you know, if you win here, then you're going to get to play at the Renaissance Rally. Well, me and Jordan are practicing nights and days and nights. Well, Aaron never shows up. Like,
oh, yeah.
Aaron never shows up.
That's talent, baby. That's how you know he's the talent.
And the day of, the dude's like, let me hear it. And Jordan pulls out his iPod. This was when, like, you know, it was an iPod.
You got 20 songs on there.
And it has, like, the wire cord, and he puts it in. He's like, got it. Okay. And we're like, oh, no. Like, what's going to happen? We get up there and, like, kill it on the Battle of the Bands.
He's way more solid than we are.
I'm just like,
thank God, because the drummer is everything anyways.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Especially with pop punk. I mean,
literally anything. You got someone who's just on time, hitting the marks. You know the song, it feels like.
Yeah, and he just listened to like a verse and a chorus, and he was like, I'll follow y'all's lead. And we're like, okay. You know?
I went back and listened to that. Man, we sounded. It's so funny because that video, it's all dark. And you can't see the fact that it's full of everyone in high school that we've... Which, granted, I didn't know that many of the younger kids, right? But everyone that you could ever see, to me, like, for sure the biggest show I've ever played. Like,
oh, for sure. I mean,
1,200?
Yeah.
Is that how big the school is, right? It wasn't that many, probably, but
and
1,000 maybe?
It was probably more than that. I
Who
mean,
weren't there to see us.
Right.
We were just on
They
stage
were
with
forced to be there.
On our faces.
They're like, Jordan, Hunter, and Daniel Lawson. Like,
I'm wearing Dickies with them cut off.
Who the hell are these guys? Like, but after the first song, everybody's like, dude, I'm loving this. And like the crowd, everybody on the second song, everybody started singing it. And
like all the small things, right?
Yeah, all the small things. The first one was
is it Damn It.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Blink-182. They're all Blink-182 songs.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was obsessed. And so
we were like a Blink cover band, so.
Yeah. Even
for a long time.
Even after that, we rode that success into our next year of playing music, basically.
And we wrote a lot of stuff based off of Blink and a lot of other pop punk bands.
All the music still to this day is based off of how I learned Blink-182 songs. That's how I write music, for sure.
Which has been successful. I mean, you wrote some super good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like the stuff I write. I
think anybody likes the stuff they write. It's getting other people to like it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think it's important to go through the stage of loving your own stuff and then hating your own stuff because you have high standards. That's what that part is. And then coming back to loving your own stuff because you're like, well, I don't need such high standards that I can't meet expectations.
Right.
Because art is art.
Yeah.
You can't have such high expectations that you're not a god, basically, of music.
But we was playing, and the crowd erupts. I mean, Aaron does this huge solo. Like, I think he ends up doing it with one hand at one point, and we're just like, we didn't realize that until after the fact. We watched the video, but everybody erupts. They want us to play again. The lights come on. We're still playing, and then after that, we're packing up, loading the car. I don't know who. It may have been Jordan. It may have been me. I have no idea. But it was like, do you want to skip the rest of the day of school? And like, we thought we were so cool. And we said, let's go. We went to McDonald's. Yeah, we left. We went to McDonald's and we dipped. We skipped school on like the last week.
Meanwhile, every other kid had been skipping school all year.
Don't
care.
All 4 years of high school.
No one getting in trouble for anything. No one cares that we're leaving.
And we're like, did the cameras see us? Like, we're loading up the car. And actually, it was your BMW. I rode with you. The little stick. But, man, that was so
neons
fun.
in that car, I think.
Yeah, that was fun. Man, those were high school. I'm so thankful for what I went through in high school and, just the experiences. But I just wish I could go back and just halfway be who I am today.
Yeah.
To one, help me make better decisions through high school, be there for others through high school. Like there's so many opportunities I feel like I missed out on because of self-confidence or just not being who I am today. And I hate that. But again, if I didn't go through those experiences, maybe I wouldn't be who I am today. You know what I mean?
Do you think that you should have gone to a different high school? Do you think you fit in at Warren Central really well?
I think so. Just
the diversity was
the
nice.
diversity
It
was
definitely
very
helped
nice.
me later in life.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say if I wouldn't have been around all those people, like if I would have went, knowing Greenwood for what it was back then, and knowing Warren East for what it was back, I feel like back then Warren Central was so diverse that it regardless whether you wanted to hang out with a Hispanic, a white person, a black person, Chinese, German, Russian, Bosnian, they were there.
Yeah.
And they were in your class, regardless. And I think some of those Bosnians are super good friends with me to this day.
It made you you
appreciate
stopped seeing
the culture,
race
I guess.
part. You just started seeing either good or bad people.
Yeah.
And that's important to be judging based off of character.
Yeah. I
think
Warren Central may have not been a great school, but honestly, I feel like they did such a good job at accepting whoever for however they were.
Yeah.
They did I love the fact that when you walked in, all the flags from different parts of the world, whether it be Jamaica, Pakistan, we had so many different types of people.
We had different
there.
income levels.
Yeah.
We had poverty. We had people who were middle class, a couple of higher class people, which granted that was mostly Greenwood back then. But it had a great mixture of everybody in the world. And I think it's important for people to see that because there's a lot of people in this world who still are just not making their judgments on people based on their character.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes their own lives harder because it's overcomplicating things.
Yep.
Your gut feeling about how someone's character is really is going to tell you everything.
Yeah, for sure. To answer your question, I don't think I would have fit in at a better high school.
More better?
How do I say that? Was it right?
You don't have to put more with better, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm just messing with you. You
I
also
did go
to wash.
Yeah,
so.
I did go to Warren Central. So
and there's the downfall of it, of course.
But I don't think I could have went to a better high school. Greenwood, I definitely would have been an outcast because we didn't have a lot of income.
Yeah.
Warren East, I was not country enough.
Amen, brother.
Bowling Green, I was not cool enough. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Something about Bowling Green was it felt like
it is a city school.
Crowd. Yeah.
And they definitely were cliquey,
That's what I hear.
But and we didn't have South Warren back then. We didn't have some other high schools, but out of all the high schools, I'm glad I went to Central. I just wish I could have went back and been some of the person that I am today.
Yeah. More true to yourself.
And I would have probably even met more people because I was super shy. I was, again, insecure, self-conscious about what I was wearing, what I look like, what I smell like, and I don't know. I just wish I would have had a little bit more self-confidence and a little bit more of a personality that I have today.
Yeah, but I don't think it's possible. I just don't think
Definitely
high
not.
schoolers have it in them.
I don't think so. I think you're 100% correct.
I don't. Daniel, you could have failed senior year 4 times in a row, and you could have still been hanging out there, buddy.
I know, yeah.
You could have been true to yourself.
They probably would have failed me, but they're like, we got to get this guy out of here. He's got to go. I know he deserves this, but just pass him so we can get done with it. He needs to move on. But again, that goes back to these self-taught lessons. I've learned a lot through self-taught lessons, and it's honestly made me who I am today. I've made some bad decisions, and I've made some bad choices, but I don't think that defines you as a person. I don't think it defines your character either.
I think everyone has bad decisions. It actually, you are human, and that defines you as a human. Mm-hmm. So yes, trial and error is literally everything. There aren't people who are just going through life making the right decisions constantly. It's just not happening.
We may see that on the outside, but
because that's all we see is the success.
Right.
That's all you're ever going to see, especially on the internet.
Yeah,
is the most successful people is the only things that you're seeing. You're not seeing all of those, and actually those people, you see them succeed. And then you're just seeing the next level of people succeeding. Those people are dipping down. Those people who succeeded here, they're dipping down into unsuccessfulness. It's everything's in waves. No one's at the top for forever. Sure, you'll see some people, right, always be at the top. Maybe that's supported by money or whatever. I won't get into my conspiracy theories, but people aren't just constantly making the right decisions all the time. They're mostly learning what the right decision is by making the wrong decisions and then correcting to the right thing. And sometimes it's wrong decision after wrong decision after wrong decision until you find the right decision. It's not about which decision should I make right now. It's about making a decision, learning from that decision, and then changing your mind.
Yeah, I think that's the most important. And ROTC taught me a lot of that, and previous jobs have taught me a lot of that. Like I've been put in a position to where it's like I was working for somebody who was who was like the owner of the operation, but I was making the calls, and it's like, am I making the right call? And he's like, make a decision.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, we learn from it.
Yeah.
If it's right, good job to you.
Yeah.
But I want you to make the decision.
Right.
Which this dude, he taught me a lot about that. But you know, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as you have to make that decision.
And I'd say that as a person who's still making the wrong decisions. I'm not in any sort of way making all the right decisions. I'm still trying to find my way at 33. Life isn't over in your 20s. Life isn't over in your teens. It's barely started in a lot of ways for me, and I feel like my life just now is starting to come together more as I've sorted through things. But even still, I have a lot that my mind is just clogged up constantly trying to figure out things that I don't know the answers to.
What about marriage? I mean, that's a big thing for Jordy.
Yeah. I mean, I would, anytime a girl asked me to move in, I'd be like, later.
Peace. But you proposed recently to old Kanye.
Yeah, a year ago.
Which was super. You made so many dudes jealous. I mean, Whitney was like, why couldn't you do something sweet like that? And Dustin's wife, Jamie, she was like, Dustin's like, man, he's going to have to make me re-propose. Like, it was super, super good idea the way you did it. But where do you see you guys, in the future?
Yeah, well, Katie's in school, so she's going to finish up in a year and a half and have her degree. I am in the midst of figuring out what I am doing with my life at 33, so that's why it's never too late.
Yeah.
I have to decide, I want to do something with entertainment, and so that's why I'm trying to get my music stuff going. And finally stop going through this whole thing of like, it's not true art. And actually, I want to make money doing it, and you have to go through some layers of caring about marketing and all that stuff.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out all that, and if not that, I guess I'll go find me a job where I don't absolutely hate my life, I guess. And if I find that, I find it. So after she finishes school, we are very take it as it comes people.
Yeah,
so
I think that's great.
We don't have like these big markers that we have to hit. Now, obviously, she doesn't want to live in Kentucky the rest of her life. She's from Thailand and Kentucky. She's been here long enough, and it's hard to be around.
What is Thailand like? Is it big? Like, is it China City? Like, I don't know.
It's not a massive country, but she is from Bangkok, which is the massive capital of Thailand. A lot of outside of Bangkok, from my understanding, is much more country side. And then Bangkok
is the vegetation like, is it super green? And like, I think of like jungle.
I think a lot of
Thailand.
like the vacation spots, like the water is supposed to be like unbelievable. The beaches are crazy nice.
That's cool.
It's supposed to be really cheap too. That's like a big reason why people
extremely
love it.
far away, but super cheap.
Very expensive to get there. Very cheap to be there.
Yeah, that's
is what they say.
That's interesting.
So I mean, obviously we're trying to go there and get married in Thailand and treat that as a 1 for 2, the honeymoon and the wedding. Plus, you don't have to invite all the people, the wedding venue here. All that stuff is immediately giving me a headache right now to think about. So
it's exhausting.
Oh, I can imagine. And expensive,
stupid expensive. That's why me and Whitney went to the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I think, everybody probably thinks they deserve this princess wedding, and, it's cool. And if you're into that, that's great. But honestly, a marriage isn't the wedding.
It doesn't represent anything.
There's so many people that I know that have spent so much money on marriage, and then after they're married, it's like, one, they're miserable. They end up getting a divorce, which costs probably just as much, if not more,
Yeah.
And, that's why me and Whitney just said, you know what, let's save our money and take a vacation with it and run down to the courthouse, invite my mom and her mom and say, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's to each their own. If that's your thing, whatever. Only thing that matters is that you both have a great relationship. You're friends. You're able to hang out with each other. You laugh at the same. You know, I mean, all that stuff is also to each their own as well. Some relationships that's not important to them.
Yeah.
To me, humor is unbelievably important. All of my friends, you and I have always, humor has been like a major thing we've connected about.
Yeah.
And so for me, Kanye makes me laugh, and
That's
I
good.
make her laugh, and that really.
That's all that
It's
matters.
the glue. It's a huge glue that it's really hard to remove us from each other because of that.
Yeah, and that's what Whitney says about me. It's definitely not the looks, she says. Which I'm like,
She likes that beard.
dang.
It covers up a little bit.
You know, it's the fact that she's like, you know, looks I could give, you know, it's a plus, of course, but
You can find it a lot of places.
Yeah, she's like, as long as someone can make me laugh and make me, you know, make me laugh and is funny, it's like that's all she really looks at, you know.
And having similar values.
She's way out of my league. I mean, she's way out of my league.
Amen, brother. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, and like you said, having the same values too.
Same values is extremely important, I think, and making sure that you care about the same things. If someone is really, really important for them to hit this certain marker of their career, and you're a person who's just, it's important to that person that someone else along with them is hitting those markers in their career. And you're not a person who does that, but everything else checks the box. That one thing can you have to both be very willing to you have to be willing to sacrifice anyways in a relationship, I believe. But those things have to be looked at and thought about. You can't just honeymoon phase it into and not think about that, because that stuff will come up at some point in your lives. And sometimes it'll be a massive issue for you.
Oh yeah, 100%. And 9 times out of 10 when it comes up, it's that ugliness.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's good to be on the same level.
Yeah, it's very bitter. It holds grudges. That kind of stuff can really build a lot of resentment between people.
Best memory of me and you, like what is some of the best times we had?
Us living together in that apartment when we were 19. That year of my life was, I mean, it was just pure, basically pleasure.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was working at CC's Pizza.
And we weren't like the partiers.
No.
Yeah,
I didn't drink out. I have a sip of alcohol until I was 22.
What did they call it? Straight
edge.
Straight edge. I said straight
straight
leg.
edge.
Straight legged.
And it was something like, if you're not for life, you're not at all.
Right.
Nowadays, I guess I wasn't about that life. But yeah, we didn't drink. We didn't do any.
We just had fun.
Literally, it was all it was just pure joking around and whatever. Which is funny because like I got older and started drinking more, and it was like, wait, I used to make fun of people like me.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, I'm like trying to come back to like just being able to enjoy simple life without having to bring in anything external to make me happy.
I think that is like that's what makes a relationship with people, and it also makes a great friend relationship. I think that's why we get along so well, is because like we didn't have to have those stimulants to make somebody laugh. I mean, there would be plenty of times where we would go to a party, you know, which was very few because we weren't that cool. But like the one or two, we were never invited.
We just show up and they kick us out.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, Jordan and Daniel's here. But like we never, like even if we did go, I think we've went to 1 or 2. We never drank, but we were like making people laugh. You know,
I don't remember seeing people drink. That's how like little it was on my radar back then, I guess. Because like back then I was like so straight edge. I was just like, I don't care. I'm not going to. And I'd go to parties in high school too. And it really, as soon as people started drinking, I'd be like, all right, later. I'd like to go to bed.
Yeah, for sure.
You and I probably have only really drank maybe together a handful of times. And even then,
usually it was like at a restaurant.
It wasn't even crazy. Yeah, we never even gotten that crazy, maybe like a couple times.
Yeah.
It's always been purely just like a sober friendship. And it does mean a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think so too. I mean, we bonded so much, and he's got great parents, you know. You know, and that is a huge role of it too. His mom, his dad, which is no longer with us, but they were so good people. Like there was many a nights we would stay up and play music in the living room, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's another day. Like, have fun, you know, 8 o'clock at night, your dad's in there reading a book, and your mom's editing photos. That's whenever she was huge into photos, you know, and she's like, y'all have fun.
Parents mean a lot. Parents are, Kanye always says about me, I would be a disaster without the parents I have. And I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Because I know how I am and how I do everything on impulse. And without great parents that made those impulses the good things, I would have just turned to some really bad things in life, I think. But
all three of you got you know, you and your two brothers are great people. And I think a lot of that stems from the way you were raised and the people you were around. Yeah,
my dad was very big on money wasn't this thing that mattered, to be honest. It was enough, you know, you have to have enough for security and all these things. And obviously I'm really bad on getting to that level even, but it wasn't a motivator for us. We've always wanted to do something more than what makes money. And sure, now I'm deciding I want to do something that matters and makes money because I can do it forever if I do that. But our motivators are more that we want to make a difference in a good way, in a true form way. And it's really hard in the world we live in today because money is literally power. And sadly, you got to have a little bit of it to make an influence as well. So balancing that's been very tough for especially me. But our values, it's just learned values from our parents. It's nothing much more than that.
What do you think the best thing your dad has ever taught you as a young adult, you know, whether that be when you were 7 to, 30, you know what I mean? What was some of the best things that he ever said to you that really kind of stuck? And it may have not stuck then, but you realize it now.
I remember one time my dad telling me when I was really young, we went to Taco Bell and I didn't finish my food. And he told me, I learned from you that there's no reason to just finish your food and get stuffed just because it's there. And I remember always thinking and he's told me that. And one time when I moved to Lexington to play music. He told me it was very brave of me to do that. And it was very inspirational for him. And it showed me his openness to be inspired and to be, to see the good in everything and everyone, just because he's older and much more mature and has all these other things he does in life. And he's all influential on other people, that even just like a child to him, he could see something to learn from something else. And that he isn't too big to not learn from something small, I guess,
That's
I think that there's, I think it's important to be able to see that everything brings value in some form.
Yeah.
Just because it has some bad qualities, there's not good qualities as well to take from it, and inspiration to take from really anything. You can find it if you look for it.
Being optimistic again. Yeah. That's what gets you through life for sure.
Yeah. It'll change your life.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
It'll change it. Yeah.
Best memory though. There's so
Alabama against Georgia national championship. Tua throws this touchdown in overtime, and I dive in the floor, and Dad dove on top of me, and we were just rolling around with each other. That, and then one time we used to have this arcade basketball hoop in our garage. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
One of those ones
you start, I remember.
And you throw the little balls to the hoop, and we would play it. And one time we were finishing up, and I was kind of still tossing a couple, and he was walking in, going up the stairs from our garage, and he threw it over his shoulder, and he turned back and looked, and I was shooting, and it just hit me right in the head. And I went, bonk. And I haven't seen him laugh. That's the hardest I've ever seen him laugh.
Yeah.
He used to pull up YouTube videos, like those old America's Funniest Home videos, and just watch people wreck bicycles. He used to love just seeing someone get hit in the nuts.
Oh my God, that's
he was
so
his
funny.
Favorite stuff.
That's
someone
so funny.
Just getting hit with something.
He was always he welcomed so many people with open arms too, like people he didn't know, just friends of yours. He didn't care. It's like he put your trust and judgment ahead of his own. I feel like
I think was love the person in front of you. I think what he means by that is just being very present, right? You're not and with the person here right now, not in your own head about the future things, and you're just getting by in a conversation with someone, but being present with someone and actually trying to make a real connection that way, instead of just kind of like brushing off. whoever's in front, because you do that with a cashier all the time. You just
Right.
kind of brush it off. You don't even remember what their face looks like when you walk out. But trying to be present with each person in front of you, that was important to him.
That's awesome. Do you remember the time that we found that squirrel? And it's on your Facebook. I found it the other day.
I was thinking about this last night.
For some reason, I thought it was an albino squirrel, but it wasn't. It was a brown
Just
squirrel
a normal old squirrel.
in the freezer. Like he was practicing taxidermy or something.
Taxidermy, yeah. And that
We lived with some weird people.
He didn't tell us. He just had the squirrel.
Yeah, we were like putting something in there, like some pizza pockets, I'm sure, or something terrible for you.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're like, is that an animal? And Jordan's like, yeah, let's take a picture with it.
It's like that Ice Age movie, that squirrel that was frozen.
Yeah, he was like, it was literally like so stiff. And I may try to download the photo and put it on YouTube, like as a pop-up or something. I think that would be so funny.
Yeah.
I'll
and then
try
the other guy lost his finger in a motorcycle.
Yeah. Devin. Wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Devin and Tim?
Well, yeah.
That's what I was thinking their names were. I wasn't 100% for certain though. Now they had some wild parties.
Yeah.
Wild. But
yeah.
there was times where I'm like, dude, are you listening to what's going on in there?
I just put my headphones in.
They were strange, man. But
we
we didn't hang out with them much. They were funny dudes, but they were older than us.
Remember we moved into that place in the middle of a lease and you had a machete stuck in the wall.
Yes. Mom's like, nope, this is not your.
No, just yank it out. Just pull it
And
out.
it was a disaster. Like it was so dirty. Like they didn't even clean.
Had fish hooks in the carpet. There was like little weed things.
It was so wild. Like
cheap though.
Oh yeah.
Cheap. We paid
and electric and water and trash. All that was included.
Internet. And it was like
internet.
$270, something like that.
It was
month.
cheap.
Dirt cheap.
I mean, now you're not going to find something like that. Maybe your health insurance. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Can't get a PS5 for that.
No. So many good memories. And I'm so thankful for our friendship, dude. Like, you've been a huge influence in my life, whether you think that or not. Your parents are huge influence. Like, man, I love those guys. They're so great. But just our memories together, I've never been so comfortable around a single human, other than family, of course, but like that outside person, like your best friend. Like I could truly sit here and say like, dude, you've been my best friend. You've been there for me. We've been there for each other, and I love you at the end of the day. I mean, you're a great dude.
Yeah. And you as well. I think of just like my music and where I would be without us doing what we did when we were younger. Not that it was anything crazy or notable or anything like that, but the amount that I learned through writing music with you, and
it probably helped you just writing music with other people in general, just different things bringing to the table.
Yeah, and hearing just like what two people can do instead of one, definitely.
Who said that? Was it Boys Like Girls? Two is better than one, or is that Taylor Swift?
Sounds like.
I think it was Boys Like Girls.
It's funny is that like I'm an open Taylor Swift hater, right?
Oh, are you?
Oh yeah, very.
So
open
she's
about
on your mid list, or is she on the hate
list?
list?
But she just can't get off my feed. She just ESPN. It doesn't matter what I do, and I can't help but look at the news, right? And I just can't help but start looking at the comments, and so she's just infectious in my feed. Can't get rid of her. And then the other day we pull up a video of us back in the day playing, and we're of course covering a Taylor Swift song. I'm like, God.
So do you think Kanye made Taylor Swift famous?
Oh yeah. So and all of that everyone's just buying into what the face value of everything happened is. The fact of the matter is Kanye and Taylor Swift are business people. They knew what they were doing, and Kanye said, you know what? There's no such thing as bad publicity.
That's right.
And he's made a living off of that.
He's right. I mean, that dude is a genius musically and what do you call this? Mentally. Yeah. I mean, his production is unbelievable as far as like his attention to detail. What's your favorite album of his? Like I was listening to one the other day.
Is my favorite.
Jesus,
which is most people would say their least favorite.
I really liked College Dropout.
Yeah, his old stuff's great. He had a sound.
Yes, yeah. I think that's why I like it.
Yeah,
and I love slow jams. Like some of the lyrics in slow jams was just like.
Now he can make a hit anytime he wants.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's beautiful about Yeezus is because that was like his counterculture when he was like, you know what?
Is that
I'm
when he
not going
changed?
to.
Is that whenever he did something different? Or
First track is like this really obnoxious sounding drum beat, and actually I think Daft Punk helped him with it. But it's like this obnoxious sounding song. He has like a lyric on there. It's like, once they start to like you, make them unlike you, and all.
Oh.
It's the album that came after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which is the big one, right? That had like Monster, right,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Nicki Minaj, and it had all the big. What's the big one? Ding ding.
wasn't that
Runaway?
Jay-Z? Yeah. Was Jay-Z in
Jay-Z's
that?
on Monster.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was like the one that had like 4 or 5 just massive hits on it, and then he came out with Yeezus, and it was just like, basically painting himself as Jesus.
Right.
So people were very anti all that. I love it though.
I love Kanye.
I love a person who's willing to.
I mean, I don't
people
like
off.
love him, but I think he's extremely talented.
I think he's got
and
mental issues
he's
as
a very
well.
good
I
businessman.
think he's got mental issues as well.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
who doesn't? Right? That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I think if you live in today's society, it's bound to happen.
Put me at that level of fame, you'll see me become a psycho.
Like, go take your pick. Yeah, that's 100% it. But yeah, dude. All in all, I appreciate you. I love you. Thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
You got anything you want to holler at before?
Yeah, so I do on Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time. I do basically it's on Twitch, St. J Music. I react to music videos. You're welcome to come in, give me some
You
suggestions.
react to music videos?
That's basically all I do.
Oh.
And so if no one's reacting, I just go through YouTube's recommendations, and I just try to find some new music I'm into. I listen to a lot of like shoegaze, pop punky kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but I also go through a lot of electronic-y kind of junk, folk stuff. So just trying to find new music. The way I like to think of it is back in the day we used to watch MTV and VH1 and watch all the countdowns in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to bring back that kind of vibe
That's
of
cool.
just like watching music videos, listening to songs.
Dude, that was the time.
Yeah. I think there's a lot, and no one watches music videos nowadays, and there's a lot of lost art in that. I want to bring that art back of video meeting music and the artist showing you what they want to show you.
What?
So
When do you do that?
I do that Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time.
Is there like a link I can share?
Yeah, I'll give you a link to my channel.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I want to check that out too. I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you stream some video games.
I
but
do some games. I don't do a whole lot of it anymore. I don't. Yeah. Whatever. If a new game's out, I'll play it. But
Right.
I'm really bad at being consistent with gaming.
So the streaming on Twitch is the music?
Yeah. I stream under the Twitch or the music channel
I didn't know that.
category.
I didn't know Twitch even did that.
Yeah, they have like a just talking and music thing you can do too on there. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Cool. I guess we'll call it then, broski.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Just don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. Turn on all bell notifications, because whether it's a podcast or a long form video, we have videos going up every day just about. We live stream on Mondays and Wednesdays. Podcast comes out on Tuesdays. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are all comedy videos, whether it be the unboxing videos or the shorts. So we got content going up every day of the week. So just be sure to turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss them, So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Jordan, I appreciate you coming in on the show. I love you, bro. And we'll see you guys later.
Latro.
Peace. I wish I knew like a cool Fortnite dance.
I wish you didn't.